Have you ever lied to someone? Maybe it was something small, like telling a friend you liked their new haircut when you actually didn't. Maybe it was an excuse for being late. Or maybe it was something much bigger. No matter who you are, the chances are that you've lied at some point in your life. In fact, psychologists estimate that most people lie more often than they realize. Some lies are harmless, some are selfish, and some can completely destroy trust between people. But this raises an interesting question. Why do people lie at all? If honesty is considered a good thing and lying is often viewed as wrong, then why is deception such a common part of human behavior? The answer lies deep within human psychology. To understand why people lie, we first need to understand what a lie actually is. A lie is the intentional act of giving false information to another person. The goal is usually to make someone believe something that isn't true. While this sounds simple, lying is actually a surprisingly complex mental skill. Think about it. To tell a successful lie, you need to understand what another person knows, what they don't know, and how they might react to the information you're giving them. In other words, lying requires intelligence. Researchers have found that children begin experimenting with lies at a very young age. Some children start lying as early as 2 or 3 years old. This doesn't necessarily mean they're becoming bad people. Instead, it shows that their brains are developing. The ability to understand another person's thoughts is known as theory of mind, and it plays a major role in deception. Ironically, the ability to lie is often a sign that important cognitive abilities are growing. But if humans are naturally capable of lying, why did this behavior evolve in the first place? One reason is survival. Throughout human history, survival often depended on avoiding danger. Imagine a prehistoric human being caught stealing food from another group. Telling the truth could result in punishment, rejection, or even death. In situations like these, deception could provide an advantage. Over thousands of years, humans developed sophisticated social skills, including the ability to manipulate information. From an evolutionary perspective, lying sometimes helped people survive. Even today, one of the biggest reasons people lie is self-protection. People lie to avoid consequences. A child lies about breaking something because they don't want to be punished. A student lies about completing homework because they fear getting in trouble. An employee lies about being late because they want to avoid criticism. In each case, the lie acts as a shield. The person isn't necessarily trying to harm others. They're trying to protect themselves from an unpleasant outcome. Fear is one of the strongest motivations behind dishonesty. Fear of punishment, fear of rejection, fear of embarrassment, fear of failure. Fear often pushes people toward deception because the truth can feel uncomfortable or dangerous. But avoiding punishment isn't the only reason people lie. Many people lie to protect their image. Human beings care deeply about how others perceive them. We want to appear intelligent, attractive, successful, and likable. Because of this, people often exaggerate their achievements or hide their weaknesses. Someone might claim they earn more money than they actually do. Someone else might pretend to have experiences they've never had. Others may carefully edit their lives on social media to create the illusion of perfection. These lies aren't always intended to hurt anyone. Often they're attempts to gain approval and admiration. In today's world, social media has made this even more common. Many people present highly filtered versions of their lives online. Viewers often compare themselves to these unrealistic images without realizing that much of what they see isn't completely authentic. Another fascinating reason people lie is kindness. Not all lies are selfish. Sometimes people lie because they don't want to hurt someone else's feelings. Imagine your friend proudly shows you a drawing they've spent hours creating. You secretly think it isn't very good. Instead of saying exactly what you think, you might tell them it looks great. This type of lie is often called a white lie. White lies are usually told to maintain harmony and protect relationships. Psychologists believe these small lies play an important role in social interactions. Without them, daily conversations could become much more brutal and uncomfortable. However, white lies can sometimes create problems when they prevent honest communication. Another reason people lie is to gain power or control. Manipulative individuals often use deception as a tool. They may lie to influence decisions, gain trust, avoid responsibility, or exploit others. This type of lying is often associated with darker personality traits. People with high levels of narcissism, Machiavellianism, or psychopathy may be more likely to use deception strategically. For these individuals, lying can become a way to achieve personal goals. Interestingly, not all manipulators are obvious. Many are charming, confident, and socially skilled. Their lies often succeed because people naturally want to trust others. But what happens inside the brain when we lie? Research using brain scans has shown that deception requires more mental effort than telling the truth. When telling the truth, we simply recall information. When lying, we must create an alternative version of reality. We must remember what we said, maintain consistency, and avoid contradictions. Several areas of the brain become active during deception, especially regions involved in decision-making, self-control, memory, and emotional regulation. Scientists have also discovered something surprising. The more people lie, the easier it can become. Repeated dishonesty may reduce feelings of guilt over time. The brain gradually adapts. What starts as a small lie can eventually grow into larger and more frequent lies. This is one reason why chronic lying can become difficult to stop. Some people even develop a habit known as pathological lying. Pathological liars tell lies repeatedly, sometimes for no obvious reason. Their stories may become increasingly exaggerated and unrealistic. In some cases, the lies are so frequent that even the liar begins struggling to separate truth from fiction. While pathological lying is relatively rare, it demonstrates how powerful deception can become when it turns into a habit. So, why do people lie? The answer isn't simple. People lie because they want to survive. They lie because they're afraid. They lie to protect themselves. They lie to gain approval. They lie to avoid conflict. They lie to help others feel better. And sometimes they lie simply because it has become a habit. Lying is one of the most human behaviors that exists. Yet, despite how common it is, honesty remains one of the most valuable qualities a person can have. Trust is difficult to build and incredibly easy to lose. A single lie can damage relationships that took years to create. That's why the real question isn't just why people lie. The real question is why some people choose honesty even when lying would be easier. Perhaps that's what makes honesty so powerful. Not because it's natural, but because it's a choice. And what do you think? Why do people lie?